I think it's fair to say the Mets were a little peeved off by that Kyle Tucker deal, considering that they pivoted almost immediately from the veteran outfielder to Bo Bichette on the open market, giving the former shortstop a 3-year, $126 million contract in the 11th hour, after the Phillies were apparently ready to meet his previous demand of 7 years, $200 million. I'm going to address the actual value of said deal in a second, but before we get there, I also wanted to point out that this move, more than likely born out of desperation, has forced them into a position that we haven't seen a team be put in since 1948, and only once in the last 100 years. That's right, per Sarah Langs on Twitter, which is a sentence that just feels good to say, as this is the first time I've gotten a chance to cite the awesome Miss Langs in 2026. The Mets are going to be the first team since the 1948 Dodgers to have 2 separate non-rookie infielders with 1 or 0 prior MLB games at the position they're going to be starting at, as they publicly have said that Bichette is going to play third and Polanco is going to play first. This is part of why people are kind of assuming this was a desperation move, as coming into the offseason, GM David Stearns made it clear that the team was going to prioritize run prevention, yet is now playing 2 free agent signees in positions they've never been at. The deal itself is, in my opinion, one of the more ridiculous overpays we've seen in modern MLB history, but I guess that's not too surprising given the fact that it's a relatively short-term deal for a dude that's in his prime. Now, what do I mean by overpay? Per the accepted WAR exchange value of about 1 wins above replacement for every $9 million spent, Bo has only, in his career, been worth around the equivalent of this contract twice, and that's per both Baseball Reference and Fangraphs. He has never managed to far surpass it. But it's more than that to me. You're taking a guy whose athleticism is obviously declining and already always suspect range, and then trying to fit him into a much more challenging position for his skill set in third base than a lot of other teams are going to put him in at second. Just look at his arm strength, for example. While it's not bad, it certainly doesn't scream grabbing a ground ball in nearly left field and throwing out a decently fast base runner. I will acknowledge that he is a quality hitter on a rate basis. He's never had a campaign where he played in at least 100 games where he didn't register 175 or more hits, 50 extra base hits, and an OPS under 800. With that being said, he also somewhat reminds me of Tucker in that he's never been the consummate best player on his team, and won't be for the Mets either. Yet they're going to be paying him over $40 million a season, more than Francisco Lindor, and even more when you factor in the luxury tax, essentially to be one of the league's most expensive square pegs in a round hole. If I had to grade the deal, I would probably give it the same as Tucker. D+. Is New York getting a valuable player? Yes, but it almost certainly will come at a premium that won't be worth its market cost. And if either of those guys endure any kind of injury without a subsequent statistical explosion beyond anything they've ever done, their contracts are almost immediately sunk. Alright everybody, if you made it this far, I appreciate you watching, and if you did, consider checking out any of these other videos on your screen right now for other content just like this. Also, if you ever see anything you'd like to see me detail in the video, feel free to reach out to my email, basebepoet@gmail.com, and if I end up using your idea, I'll give you a shout out. Thanks for watching. Have a great rest of your day.